like there's new developments in this story, so I just want to read down some of the newer stuff in this. So I still lean on she's totally bipolar. Totally. But it sounds like she's involved in some weird stuff here too. And I did a thing on this the other day, same thing, did a long thing, do not have the mental capacity to even edit through it, so we'll try to just do this newer one. So there's a man who spent the day with Hannah, and they open up to the police. Now, when we're talking about drugs or anything like that, these people are not going to open up and go, yeah, she asked me for some pot, and I gave her some. It's just not going to be in these stories. It's hard to, like, get, like, information, because you got to question, like, different reasons. But anyway, but it doesn't sound much different than like when I was a kid. But I was a kid. She's older. She's like 30. I probably would have been just like, hey, what's up? You know, I don't care who it is. But police have provided new details about Hannah's disappearance, revealing the 30-year-old voluntarily traveled to Mexico after spending a night with a stranger in LA. You'll be surprised how many people do this. It's always, I don't know. She disappeared while traveling from Hawaii to New York. Missed a connecting flight. Family members said they received texts that were out of character from her before the phone was turned off. Investigators with the police department told she met an unidentified man at Los Angeles International Airport on November 11th. The pair spent approximately 9 hours together walking through downtown and ultimately falling asleep at Union Station. According to the lieutenant, the man said she appeared coherent and engaged during their encounter. He also told police she discussed her life in Maui, personal matters, and travel plans, including intentions to visit Redwoods and New York. So these were her initial intentions. They showed her at the LA Grove, and then she did not appear to be alone in some of the footage, and then they feared she was being trafficked. Well, they wouldn't be at the Grove just roaming around. There was a lot to that, but anyway, I was like, it's a possibility, but you would have to, there was a whole different thing to that. Anyway, they wouldn't just traffic her out because she's hanging out at an airport. They just like stake her out. At 6:10, November 12th, she purchased a bus ticket and then traveled to the Mexican border. I'm just questioning how she even know to do all this. I don't know. I just don't. I'm like, I just don't. She knows more than me. Okay, arriving in Tijuana around noon. And her phone was left behind at LAX. But it's telling you something like her mental, something's not firing great here. Because why would she, okay, so for what this guy is saying, unless he's reading the news and just wants to like make up some stuff, it depends what he told the, investigators, but it's coming together like the same story, right? This is what everybody knows. She's supposed to do this. She's supposed to do that. But technically what she's doing is really out of the norm, right? Doesn't mean that she's being forced by somebody else, but she's being very scatterbrained, or she, is doing that because she's paranoid and she thinks she's being tracked. Like, there's a number of things, because when they have this issue, they can get paranoid, just all kinds of crazy stuff. But then if you were me, you might want to leave your phone at LAX. I don't know, but that's what I say. You get these stories and it's just like, okay, but depends, right? Police have classified her disappearance as voluntary and ended their active investigation, though she remains in their missing person system. I would still keep looking though. I mean, honestly, even though the parents seem a little overzealous here, but I would actually still keep looking, because I question her mental state, and just because of that, it's always a risk. And then the family search for her was complicated by the thing of her father. Okay. Which I think, that might actually be the indication that maybe the family has some history here. And it's showing up differently. Because I put the link about that issue and how it normally looks like depression more than it would mania, like the manic thing. And I was saying how I didn't even know our family friend had that. Like, none of us did. Like, nobody in the family, nobody. They didn't even talk about this stuff, and you couldn't really tell. And it was only until, I guess, when it tips over to the other thing, then it becomes more obvious from the actions and the things they're saying, I guess, because LAPD had to deal with them, or I don't know, maybe it's not LAPD. It was a different department somewhere else. And apparently, I guess they noticed it and they contacted their family. That's what they told me. I know this is a private matter, sort of, but I think it's kind of important just for the public, general, for educational purposes. Um, and no, it was weird because you could talk with them. They're normal. They seem normal. It's just that some of the conversation was hella dark. Now, I talk about things and they're hella dark, but it was at a wrong time kind of thing. I don't know how to differentiate to you guys like what's different because our topics here are always dark. And sometimes when I talk to people, I will bring up these dark stories from all this stuff because that's just my life. I mean, it's just the nonstop darkness. The It was like we're hanging out just like to go eat, right? And we're family friends and everything. And it's just randomly like the conversation went to like effed up stuff, like just randomly, right? And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm really uncomfortable. And at the time I'm looking at it as my issue because I'm like, I don't want to talk about these like things right now because I haven't even confronted all those, the rape and all the, the ring and all and nothing. This was like literally after it. And she starts bringing up, people dying and, date rape, drugs and yeah. I was like, oh God, I don't even want to talk about it. But I didn't tell her that. She's just talking and I'm having a moment of anxiety over the conversation, but I'm listening and then that's it. Like that would be the only flag. Like, but what she's saying isn't like nuts. It's just things happening, right? And actually, the things that she's telling me may not even be true. Like nobody had this happen. I think maybe it did happen, but I don't know. But it doesn't sound out of place. It doesn't sound like delusional. Nothing. I was actually getting educated on something that nobody talked about. So that's what I'm saying. I go, you could sit there and be like, they seem totally fine. Yeah, I mean, it was just like, I'm not. I was like, I'm not at the moment. I'm having anxiety because I don't want to talk about this for dinner. And then, very nice, like nothing. It's so weird, but that's why I was just bringing it up because it's not, you shouldn't be ashamed if you have that. It's just, it's hard to pick out. Like, I'm just saying it was hard to pick out. Even now, like I'm more educated on it today. A Facebook user sent what looked like a Hawaiian beach wedding photo of Hannah with another man. You know what? I'm going to start thinking that everybody that goes to Hawaii is a nutcase. Mostly after that friggin' Chad Daybell story with them going there after they, did all that and went over there. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There's something going on over there. Okay, so they had a wedding photo of her with another man with lace around her neck wearing white. And they said that they learned off of Reddit, which I've been going on to Reddit. I actually don't hate Reddit as much as I used to back in the day. Actually, there's a lot of smart people on there, so I just was at the wrong place, I guess, from early on. But no, I've been kind of jumping in there because I was like, yeah, a lot of people have a lot of good information on there. I don't know how the hell they find some of this stuff, but even for me, I was like, I don't know how you connected that thing right there. You spent a lot of time. But there was a sham marriage for money and that this is the wedding picture that's being circulated on Reddit. And of course, that came as a shock to Hannah's sister. I would be a shock to anybody, like anybody. So she may have got involved in a criminal scheme. Okay, so this would be another reason why she goes. So if we refer back to the text, so some of the statements are really out there, okay? And they may just still be out there. But when you start going, don't contact the cops, well, maybe it is a thing that she has knowledge that she did something criminal. And how do you go to the cops? It's like, oh, I married this guy into the country and then like he didn't pay me. So like, all this, you can't, right? So, I was looking at that because I was kind of stewing on it because I still think she's, has some issues. So I was like, well, it doesn't mean that everything they say is totally false. So maybe in that mix of things, they're trying to keep that on the low. And it's just like legitimately an issue, an issue here. So then it says, of course, that came as a shock to Hannah's sister. Why would they? Okay, so they're showing this dynamic with the family is a hot mess, just generally, because even if you did that, let's just say they did that, and they're showing a picture of it, why wouldn't they just tell their family that they got married, right? Because you're supposed to actually keep that whole sham up with everybody. So why wouldn't you just say, oh, I met this wonderful man, and yada, yada, yada. You have to act like you're together. So I don't even know how this is going on. But anyway, Los Angeles Magazine cited unnamed sources may have been involved in a secret marriage plot for money. The magazine characterized the marriage as an immigration scheme where Hannah was tricked out of the money that she was supposed to receive. And remember, I talked about that Barat. We don't even know if it's Barat. It actually could have been a legitimate guy. I was actually trying to obtain as much information from that guy just because, well, I don't know anything about these scams or these setups. And it's so odd that this guy at random is asking me to marry him into the country for money so he could be a big Hollywood star. Honest to God. At least the scam on me, or I don't know if it was a scam. I felt like it was a setup, but I was so curious, like what happens in this thing? Honest to God, it's terrible, but I was like, how much is this? And there was actually the way that that guy broke it down to me. I don't know if it's real. It could be Barack. It could be Sasha. It could be a real person. But the way they broke it down to me was you get married to him, you live in the same place, and he has a girlfriend, I guess, or something somewhere else. I go, oh, and he's like, you're not going to be in the same room. And so it's a separate thing. And then you stay with me for 3 years. And these payments come in. There's supposed to be these payments, right? So the payments for this guy, he wanted to pay $12K. And I'm like, that ain't worth it. Who the hell gets married for $12K? That's not even minimum wage for it. I was like looking at this thing. I was like, who does this? I have to not be able to get married to somebody else for 3 years to pretend that you're my husband. Anyways, so the breakdown was, it's really sad that I know this. Okay, so the breakdown was payments, I think it was payments every month. And then at the tail end, they do like a lump sum of something. But again, it's only $12,000 or something like that. So kind of figure this out. And then a payment at the end. And I was just like, oh my God. Okay. We'll do it. I didn't know I did not. I was like, I was tripping on the story because I was like, the guy's like a decent looking guy. And if he has a girl here, why does he need to go at random to somebody on Craigslist looking for a rental when he could just go out to a club and probably get some girl? And she's like, oh, all right, I don't know, but it's bizarre. And then, but he was from like allegedly like Saudi Arabia or something. And he was an actor. He was like some actor from over there. And he showed me a movie. And it was all high definition. It was not like some little low budget nothing. And when I was looking back at it and then we see the other people, I go, yeah, I don't know. I would fit to those people and they're bullshit. And they probably just never used the skip. Maybe they were just testing out. I was thinking about that. I go, it's possible. But it actually could be a real guy, you guys. So oh my God, some guy from Saudi Arabia is like, I really want to be a famous actor here in Hollywood. I'm just going to go ask some girls, hey, 12K. Okay, so I don't trust anybody from Argentina here. I have this issue. I had an incident with some possible illegals from Argentina. I cannot verify if they are or not, but there was indications that maybe that. But at least they didn't try to marry me in the country, but oh boy, I was like, there was a long story with that, so I won't get into that. But yeah, they've been coming in here. I don't know what. But the Argentina man believed to be involved was on the flight from Maui to LAX November 8th, and was she and her ex-boyfriend. And they said they welcome any information from herself. We don't have her side of the story. Oh, yeah, because you could, like, say that she illegally married somebody, but she actually, like, legitimately, like, got with them and they got married. And then they can't prove it's any type of crime. I don't even, again, when I was, like, talking about this story, I did a clip on it, but then I didn't put it up or anything. But I was, like, in that one, I was like, I don't know anybody that actually got in trouble for that. I know that it's almost like everybody knows about it and then nobody cares. And it's usually the women, it's more often than not women coming here trying to get in the country, and some man gets them and then they abuse them, because the people here actually are in the position of power to cut that marriage off, and they can annul it and get them deported. But then you're going to probably get in trouble. I don't know. There's a lot to it. So I don't know. I think it's a hard crime to, like, really go at, because they'll say, oh, they did this thing, and then you can get in trouble. I don't know. But from what I've heard about these stories is, like, the girls are the ones that get harmed from the guys here because they abuse them. But then the story with me was a guy wanting to do that with me. And it's almost like, could I become a victim in it? I guess I could become a victim in it if they didn't pay me. But it's still like I'm agreeing to do a criminal act. And uh you know what I mean? That's kind of where that goes. So who worked as a photographer and smoke shop employee in Hawaii and was originally scheduled to fly to New York and all that, and didn't board the flight. Okay. Authorities said that he found no evidence of criminal activity or foul play or disappearance. And that's where that ends. So right now, there's talk that, I mean, the only other thing is, it wasn't just on Reddit, I guess. I think they said that they went into her home and they found some documentations. And yeah, so it's not like an AI, how you could do that and then just start a whole freaking thing up in here. So, but they said they found the name of the guy on the flight. So I don't know, guys. Just hope she doesn't go on a flight and go back to Argentina and then you never see her again. I don't know, you guys. It doesn't make any sense. So maybe she did, and then that's just the end of that. And she's not even with them. And this is a whole different thing. Like, they could be, I don't know. But they don't see him on camera with her or anything. And then she's just in La La Land going to do something else. How do you get to the point that you want to go to the Redwoods and go to New York, but change your mind, and then you end up going to the Mexican border? On her text, she said reading. And so to me, I was thinking tarot card reading. They probably told her some hokey pokey stuff. And she's like, yeah, I need to, like, follow the elk maybe somewhere. That seems like her. That's the free spirit. That's the ones that nobody cares, that a lot of them probably do have some mental health issues. That's the only thing. It's like you went somewhere where you don't know, and then they're talking about if she didn't have money to go back on the flight, then how is she going to have money to live in Mexico? That's concerning. So the actions are high risk, regardless of if anybody did anything to her. You still could be high risk and you're just lucky and nothing happens to you. But the actions are so bizarre, because I'm a free spirit too, you guys, but I would not walk across the border to a place I've never been and just go plop myself on over there without a car. It's just not going to happen. That's scary. I would have to have some sort of safety. Like, I know the place I'm going to go, and I'm going to do all this. Some of these actions are some actions that maybe if I was, like, 19 years old, yeah, you know what, why not? You don't know all the bad in the world yet. You don't have all those, like, things right there yet. And so you might go, oh, that sounds like fun. Everybody comes up in here for spring break and whatnot. Let's go party up in Tijuana. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, something could happen. But not necessarily always something will happen. I mean, a lot of people travel on over there, but I don't know if she's been there before. I don't know what the reason would be for her to go do that. I'll tell you a reason why somebody I knew gone Jen did that. But she took her car. She had a doctor issue where she had to keep getting injected with Demerol, and she would continually go to the border to be able to go see a doctor there because over here they limit it, right? They got her addicted to it, and they didn't view doctor meds as being bad yet. And so she got addicted to it, and she's like, I'm in so much pain. And it was like probably the withdrawals from that thing. And she would go to the border and get the shot and then come back to work. And I'm like, holy crap. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any other additional in the story. These are just stories I know from other people doing some similar crazy actions. But she didn't come back yet that we know of. But, who knows? If they're not watching it, then she could have already came back and she's off at the redwoods and nobody knows where she's at. And then she'll pop up in like 10 years. Who knows? You don't know the mental thing that's going on here. It just sounds weird that she meets a random guy. Not that this would be uncommon and you would talk to him, but she spends 9 hours with them and then just tells her all the same stuff that she's saying to everybody else. Because it's not like she has any, this would be like a hindsight. It's not like she knows that the media or anybody's going to talk to that guy. So why not just say, the truth of the matter? So that probably is the truth. But then inside her brain, she's having other issues and she knows not to say anything. Because she's saying it to them on the text, like, don't call a call. Yeah, this is a whole different thing. We got to keep it on the low. You know what I mean? So why would she say it to this guy? She's going to say this other stuff, what she was trying to do. I don't know. It just sounds, it sounds like mental illness to me. And then just people maybe taking advantage of, I don't know how she met a guy to marry him into the country, though. I'm just saying my thing happened through, I believe, Craigslist in the rental thing. And then LAPD popped up right after or something. It was something like that. And I go, what is with all these predators? Like everywhere. It's like, I'm just looking for a rental. Like, what the hell? Is this like Love Connection? That's what's been happening, you guys. It is awful. I do not want to rent ever again. I want to own my own place because I cannot deal with this anymore. But this is interesting. So does the country, how are we viewing this? They go, the family fears she may be the victim of a green card marriage scam. Well, first of all, you're not supposed to marry anybody into the country for money. So technically, you're the criminal in that thing right there. Okay, so, but I get, like, what I'm saying is like, yeah, they could promise all this money, but they don't have any money. And then at the end of it, not pay her. Isn't it like two idiots in a thing? You know what I mean? It's like you're doing a criminal thing, they're doing a criminal thing, and you guys got screwed because you both are doing criminal conduct. It's really, the thing about it. It's, I don't know. I guess that's how they're looking at it. She's a victim. I was like, like, is she okay to getting married to the country? This person. I think everybody knows it's against the law to do that. Even though it might sound tempting. Somebody's tempted with $12,000. I was like, $12,000? I was just going through this whole thought about it. I was like, 12, that's like, what? That's for 3 years? Add a couple more zeros to that, dude. Now give me $12,000 a month. Is it worth going to jail for $12,000 a month? Make it worth my 20-year prison stint.